You never been live? Well, now you're live, and here we are.
We're live, Nikki.
We're live.
Welcome to Patriot Business Alliance, winning on Wednesday.
We just hit her with it.
Good. Yeah, she's like, our guest here is Nikki, and she's like, I've never been live. And next thing you know, here we are. And it's the same as if we weren't live, right? Nothing changed.
Yeah.
I just have to lean in.
It's just
Scoot that chair up a little bit and speak into the mic.
Thousands of little bitty eyeballs are looking at you right now that you can't see.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
And that's kind of intimidating at times, but we have a good time here. We want to thank you for coming on over here and to the Patriot Business Alliance, and she's going to share some solid information.
Yeah, I'm excited
this evening. Sure. And so again, we appreciate it. And like we always do, we start off our program talking about our wins, right? A lot of people out there don't really want to let that out there and be like, oh, I just closed $100,000 deal. I just did this. I just did that. They want to say real humble and they don't want to voice it. But we believe in shouting to the heavens on your wins, because that's what's going to keep me motivated
100%
into tomorrow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, we're going to kick it off with Jeff, and he's going to tell us about his wins from the previous week, a little bit of personal business. I already know some of them. So let the world know.
I've been, it's been an up and down roller coaster. We, sold the land or whatever. We just closed on our new house today. And, a lot of people do that. But for me, that's a personal goal that I've been working towards for a very long time. And I just closed on a house that's probably, insane to me from where I came from, and the money we just put into that house. My family's going to have more room. So, just being a part of the synergy of our family and seeing us all work and grow together to get to our goals as a team is amazing. So
let me ask you one of the most important questions. Did you become a yellow jacket, or did you stay one of them pesky Hawks?
Dude, we're Hawks we're all the way Hawks, man.
We're Hawks. This guy. I don't know if you guys aren't from Rockwall, this huge rivalry.
Yeah.
The Rockwall Heath side of the Hawks and then the Rockwall Yellow Jackets.
So we're Hawks all the way, baby. And I'll tell you one thing. I drove into a yellow jacket street today, and y'all have those little yellow jacket signs, and I kind of got a little sick to my stomach.
That's right. Don't you worry about it, man. We got you the stinger. So,
but yeah, man, and that's the reason why we got the house where we got it, because Caden is so involved in the Mighty Hawk band, and he's a sophomore. So huge personal win. Just so happy about that. Can't even put it into words. Business win, man. I'm crushing it this month.
Nice.
I've done more business this month than any other month that I've been in business for 4.5 years.
What do you think's changed?
Delegation and taking a serious step back at being a business owner and working my business mentorship program. This is the bottom line to it. Being able to stop, evaluate, delegate, and then take action on the things that I've been dreaming of doing for so long, like actually being a business owner. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, just huge wins all over this month.
Big time. Congrats on the new home purchase. I was just in those same shoes.
Yeah.
The moving. I don't envy you, but congratulations on it. Once the dust settles, which I'm assuming is about 2 months, I'll let you know how long it's going to take. We
were just at your house today.
We still have boxes. It's still in chaos. And so super excited for you, Jeff, man. That's huge to be able to take those strides and being a business owner, seeing that growth and having those 6-figure months.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean? It's something that at one point in time, a lot of people don't know. Me and Jeff went to the same high school. We went through the same background, almost identical paths, and ended up back here at the same table. And to look back where we came from to where we are today, sometimes I got to pinch myself.
Same here, man.
For real.
Yeah, it's cool, man. But this all goes down to setting your goals, but not just setting them, but writing them down. I see my financial goals every day because I have them broken down into my big number, my monthly number, and my daily number, like that granular. Yeah. Because that's the only way you can really understand, $1 million a year, break that down by what do you need to sell a day. It's not that much, guys. It's really not.
It's $2,700.
It's insane if you break it down that granularly. So yeah, man, just winning all over the place, man. But also, dealing with, the force of average from time to time. It's just still there.
Hey, the universe ain't gonna stop. Just
it never does.
You're out there winning, they're gonna it's gonna punch you a little bit harder and quicker, and you just gotta be ready for them. So what about you, Nikki? We're not gonna get too deep in who you are. We just want to hear your wins, get those out there, and then we're gonna come back to you and really dive deep into who the real Nikki is.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you. I'm going to come right out and say this is the biggest win so far this week is being on my first ever Facebook Live.
Get out of here.
Oh, shit. That's awesome. That's cool.
So I'm just excited and ecstatic to be able to share and spread what I do and I know it's a little bit boring sometimes, but I love it. And hopefully you'll love it by the time we're done. On a business win, I'm going to follow your lead a little bit and say that it has also been a tremendous week for me. We can go all the way back to month, but as we move into fourth quarter, all of my whole year, I spend marketing and building. And once fourth quarter hits, it clicks for business owners, just time of year, right? And so I'm finally starting to see the efforts that I've been putting in the first 9 months are finally starting to show, and I'm getting the calls and they're like, oh, hey, feeling. I already know you. I've seen you before. And it's like, oh, thank God. Finally.
It does work.
It does work.
Consistency,
exactly.
doing it over every single day. It pays off. So that's huge to hear. I love it. I love it. Just keep grinding and keep those W's. So let's see, for me, wins. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin. Personal win. There's been a lot of winning going on in my personal life. Yeah. Just as a whole, I mean, I've seen, as a father, I've been able to push my children to a whole nother level that they now know that they're capable of, and to be able to see that and see that light bulb turn on has been a really huge factor for me. And just seeing the growth in my teenagers is extremely powerful. It lets me know that me and my wife have been doing the right things. Oh man, you're looking yourself in the mirror just 30 years ago or 20 something years ago, whatever it is. How old do you think I am? About the same age, but I just shot from the hip. Like 50 years ago, Mike. You remember? We graduated at the same time. It is cool to see that though, man. Right? Because I've seen your kids grow up too, and it's amazing, especially Haley, like squared away, dude. Like you can see it in her eyes. It's just a focus. Like she gets it from you, and she's hyper focused, and she's taking on risks, like smart risk. Yeah. Right. And she's coming to us and like coming to us with a tough question. So for her to come and trust us with her problems and ask for that guidance is huge. Because I know at her age, I would never go to my mom and dad. Yeah. Like, I went to my friends. What should we do? Know right? Where that road led, right? Yeah. And so I'm just incredible win as a parent out there. And then business wise, we have been hiring and implementing new systems and processes, right? Utilizing this new app. Yeah. And it's really starting to click, just like what you stated, right? 9 months ago, you started this process, and now you're really seeing the fruits of your labor at the year, Q4 time frame. So I am now starting to see, so all of these people that came on board around the March time frame, we began to implement these new systems, these new processes, doing the follow-ups, right? Doing the scorecards and all this other mundane shit that I'm not accustomed to, right? But now I'm taking that step back, looking at, the big picture, and I'm like, wow, it's clicking. I see these things, and they're not even coming to ask me. What's that old adage? What gets measured gets improved. Yeah. Right. So if you're not measuring everything in your business, like how do you know if it's going up, down, left, or right? So that's something that I've learned this year is if I'm not measuring it, then I have no true understanding of the growth or the decline of, whatever it may be. Yeah. So that's been a big win. And I know it's not financial. It's not any of that. It's really seeing the culture come together, seeing the hard work being implemented and it working, and then having them come and be excited, right? Your team is on fire, dude. Every time I come in here, it's like a party up in here. They're excited to be here because that's part of our core values, right?
Culture matters.
God, health, wealth, and entertainment, right? If I don't bring happiness to an environment, you walk in and the owner's a sad panda because he doesn't want to be here. You know what I mean? That juju is going to pass down. Yeah, it resonates. Absolutely. And so we got to keep that high energy, that high vibe. And so that's where I'm excited. But without further ado, I'm going to butcher her last name. I got you. Niki Trentacosta. Is that it?
That's it.
There you go. I got you, Doc.
Thank you.
Right. So welcome to the show. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. And you actually told me a really cool story, which I'm going to let you share, but you got to hear this one. So the floor is yours.
Okay. I am, again, happy to be here. My name is Niki Trentacosta, and I am president and business owner of the Tanna Group. It's an employee benefits consulting company. To break it down as simply as possible, I help small business owners with less than 50 employees shop for administer and implement their employee benefits with a strategic mindset that we can copy year over year without having to reinvent the wheel every single renewal period, because it's such a stressor financially, mentally. And so what I try to do is take that project off of the small business owner so that they can focus on their own business, and I can do the hard leg work and the employee communications.
How long have you been doing that?
I have a history
in this industry.
I've been in the insurance world for over 10 years. I started as a human resources professional in small business space, doing the benefits and the payroll. And once I realized that I had a salary cap as an HR person of a certain number, I said, you know what? I think I can make more money if I do it myself. So I started to work at a business firm, another consulting firm, for about 2 years.
Okay.
And decided it was time to spread my own wings and start my own business in 2019. October is actually my 2-year anniversary for the Tanna Group. So
nice.
Killer.
I'm proud to say that.
Congrats. And you're actually our ideal guest.
Oh,
Right. We love talking to that business owner that is right there at that precipice of getting to that next level. Right. So we believe during the first 1 to 5 years of business is the make or break you. Right.
Definitely
it is the make or break you time frame.
I'm right there
and
in the
it's kind
suck
of
of
both. I feel like right now.
Yeah. And well, at that 2-year mark, right, you're either A, you're gaining traction, or B, you're stuck in the mud. And you're like, oh man, do I need to go back to work because my bills are still coming, right? What do I need? Right. So it's that fear. The fear comes in and it can become crippling to where, did I make the right decision? Did I make the right choice? Do I still have a passion about this? So don't stop, because year 4, you're going to be a boss lady.
Oh no, there's no stopping.
Okay. You'll really, and you can, Jeff can attest to it.
Yeah.
Right at about 3.5 years, there was this, I don't know, he just turned it on. And he hasn't stopped yet. And so that's typically what happens with small businesses that have set those parameters in place, the systems in place, where right around the 3rd year, 3.5 year mark, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, because something just clicks. It's like you get to the point where, like, yeah, that didn't work and it hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to switch it up. And it's that fight or flight mode.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the investing in yourself, which we talk about a lot. So if you don't have a mentor, man, really get one, because that honestly, that changed my whole perspective on being a business owner and being a better man. So we can help hook you up with some people if you need one, if you don't have one. But man, I tell you what, just keep pushing. I'm proud of you. That's cool. 2 years. A lot of people don't know it. Try to start your own business and do it for 2 years. Straight up.
Especially, and don't take this the wrong way, Nikki,
Just
especially an HR lady.
Right. Nobody likes HR. Nobody likes insurance.
You're not the most you know what I mean? You're not like
you ain't showed up.
You ain't the favorite person at the party, right?
No, nobody wants to come to my door. Nobody wants to talk to Nikki. So
she
it
lures
has
you
been
in
an
with
uphill
candy
battle.
and wine. Yeah, come here, check out what I got.
Yeah.
If you drink too much of this and eat too much of this, you're at risk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Hey guys, real quick, shout out Tim and James, Isaac, and appreciate you guys joining in the comments. Look, he says we are now on Inc. 5,000's fastest growing companies. Make it happen. 1 to 5 years as a startup. So I'm still in a startup. You're still in a startup. Just keep grinding, keep asking questions, and you, like you said, in 2 years you're gonna look back. Like I'm looking back now, going, wow. I'm about to hit 5 years. What? First off, where did it go?
Yep.
And number 2, I'm more focused and more driven now than I've ever been.
You'll just make these great strides and continue plugging in with the right people, the right group, the right mindset. Like you will be unstoppable.
You just can't forget to change. That's what I'm just now learning is don't be afraid to pull the plug and plug something else in.
You have to. You have to be able to adapt, and you have to stay fluid. Running a company, in my opinion, is fluid.
Yeah.
If you become stagnant, that's when what happens when you have stagnant water. That's when your mosquitoes show up. That's when it starts smell.
Stinking.
Right. And so that's what I have to remember is like what happens when you become stagnant. You begin to die. So you constantly changing, constantly adapting, consistently adapting to new training techniques and staying fluid as a business owner, you'll be successful.
So you didn't say anything about the really cool story.
Yeah, it's
So that's
So-
my business intro. Let me
Okay.
tell you about my personal
Yeah,
intro.
that's what I'm waiting. You got to hear this one, dude.
I'm all ears. I
Yeah.
won't even interrupt.
Mike hasn't heard this yet. So at home in my home life, I have a lovely house here in Rockwall, multi-generational home. And for one of our hobbies is raising alpacas in our 6 acres behind our house. And I was joking. I always joke about it because whenever you hear that you're going to be talking to an insurance person, you may have some bad thoughts in your head, right? Like this is a whole bunch of baloney or poop.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is we've been trying to figure out how to get some sort of financial return on these alpacas so that we can have our tax exemption and all of that. And of the things that we have tried to sell, their fleece is one. I am not good at selling on eBay or Craigslist or Etsy or any of those websites. We tried to have products made. Socks are itchy.
Yeah.
Scarves are expensive.
Sure.
So the funnest and most profit we've made on any of our products is by selling the alpaca's poop.
Get out of here.
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer, exactly.
I'm
So
sure
the
it's high in
fertilizer,
nitrogen.
Dude, my brain didn't even think fertilizer. I was just like, what?
It does not burn plants, but I always make this
Wow,
joke
that's
that
cool.
talking as an insurance person, you're like, oh man, she's going to sell me a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Well, I really do that
Yeah.
as a hobby.
Alpaca.
And so,
I'll pack you a box.
yeah,
I love it, man.
I'll even bag it up for
Who's
you.
your client? Who's your target audience for alpaca poo?
So I posted on Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of organic gardeners in
Okay.
DFW who will come and buy 10 or 15
I
bags.
may have an ideal client for you. I am actually doing work with one of the young ladies who is just a horticulturalist, big organic, loves, you know what I mean? Won't put any pesticides, won't do anything that's not natural.
Yeah.
So I think I may have your ideal client. And this alpaca poo may be your passion. Like,
Could be.
you may be like, you know what? Who needs? You may be like, you know what? Insurance? You're going
Who
to bag
needs
money.
HR? I got alpaca poo in the back.
And I think that's your name of the company is alpaca poo.
Yeah.
But you have to spell it like alpac a poo.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I like
It's
that.
a play on words.
If you haven't realized, this guy's our idea fairy over here.
I'm
for
also
sure.
taking hashtags in the comments if you
Yeah.
got any.
Alpaca poo. And then so that's, I think you got the winning deal. Let me market it for you. I'll tell you what, you won't be stopped.
Deal.
I just thought that was really cool, man, because they're cool animals. You
They
know,
are.
they look. You're like,
Very unique animals.
spit
and-
on you.
They
and-
do spit.
Yeah, all over the
It's
place.
like,
so-
why are you, it makes you wonder, like, what is your purpose on this world?
Yeah,
Alpaca.
yeah. Same with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but so let's dive into let's dive into the value of the show tonight, because I think if you're in that 1 to 5 years, like Tim said, that's a startup, and we're all, including myself. When you brought this idea to me, I was like, "That's money, dude. Let's get it," because I'm right here, look, in the same spot. So, tell us what a small business is to you.
Okay, so the state of Texas says that a small business is anything under 50 employees. I say that a small business is really in the 25 employee space and below, because that's where you're still building and growing, and you may still need help with your processes and your culture and things like that. And so that's really my ideal space for small business. But like I say, state of Texas and generally the United States pretty much says under 50 employees.
And that makes perfect sense, because most small businesses should be able to handle that amount of people, right? But it's like my wife right now, she's got 32 agents.
That's insane to me.
underneath her. You
That
know
says
what I
32
mean?
headaches. That's how I look at that.
It is. Well, because you look at that, you go, wow, that's 32 lives that
Families.
I'm responsible for, right?
Yeah.
And that's a huge stressor. Because like me, I'm the last one that takes a paycheck, right? Because everybody else I have this responsibility for.
Every
right?
time. Yeah.
I know that I have to make a minimum amount of money to pay my bills. And so everything else gets shifted back to the company and or the staff, right? Because if I keep them happy, the risk goes down, right? Because if you get some angry
Angry employee.
we all knows what happens with angry employees. Just type Google angry employees.
Yeah. You see some funny stuff.
You'll see some funny stuff, and you'll be like, you guys need to talk to Niki.
It's funny you say that, man, because the other day I was driving and I was just having one. It may have been that day you and I spoke, and I was just like, man, just not feeling it today. Be a good day to just be like, forget it all, go home, whatever. And the first thing I thought after that thought was, I got responsibilities now that are bigger than me. And I was like, there is no, like, hey, check it out. If you're planning on starting a business, there are no days off.
No.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no days off because your brain's working 24/7. And like Doc's saying, with Rochelle, 32 people, and you got what, 12 or 15 at this point right now?
I just try to count them
Can't
all
even keep up with you anymore. But you got to understand, when you take this commitment, it's more than and bigger than you 100% of the time.
But it's so fulfilling though, right?
It is.
Having that responsibility sometimes just sometimes it's hard, but all hard things. I mean,
sure. I mean,
it's
you
rewarding.
don't get diamonds without pressure.
Right.
Exactly.
So to get the finer things in life, it should be difficult, right? Otherwise, everybody would have it.
Sure.
And I'm not willing to share for people that are lazy. You know what I mean?
Negative.
Don't be mad.
Agreed.
Don't be mad because I got the new Jordans on, and you got
worked for 'em.
and you got last year's Jordans on. That ain't my fault.
Yeah. Step up your game.
Yeah, like do the work, play hard. I mean,
That's it.
we don't want to deal with your excuses.
No one cares. Work harder.
Nobody cares.
Work harder.
That's it. And I was like that this morning, right? So I pull into the gym, and everybody knows I like going there. It's my clarity. But I pull in the parking lot and I just sit there. I'm watching these people walk in.
You and your missus are on the same page today.
Yeah,
huh?
we were too. And I was watching people walk out, and I was like, no. And then my mom calls me, right? And she's like, hey, what's up? I was like, I'm sitting here debating if I want to go move this weight or not. She's like, just go do it. I'm like, whoa, how about you go do it?
Yeah. Get over here.
I was like, well, where are you went? She's like, yeah, you're right. Anyway, so at the end of the day, I ended up going in and doing the work. But we all get that complacency, right?
Yeah.
We all get that. I want to give up. I don't want to do this, right? Because it can become mundane. Going to the gym every single day, it can become tiresome. And so we got to change it up, right?
You focus on the bigger goals, though. That's what keeps you motivated to keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back at him, how do you evaluate a company's risk?
So I like to think about health insurance. Health insurance is really my main focus in the employee benefit space.
Okay.
So when we're talking about risk, we're talking about the overall health of your group and the potential for accidents, right? I'm not talking about work accidents because you have workman's comp insurance for that. I'm talking about the health insurance, the health of your employees and their families, because we all know, especially in the small business space, your employees are your family. And so we want to make sure that we're protecting these people to the best of our abilities as business owners and as leaders of organizations.
Right.
And so I say, let's figure out a way to offer something to these employees to be able to help manage their overall health and have something as insurance in case something bad does happen, like an emergency. What if you do get into a car accident whenever you're going to a soccer game, right? And you end up in the emergency room and then you file bankruptcy. Sometimes
Dang, you just went straight down
it
the hole.
can happen.
Come on, Niki. Like,
You
what
skipped
happened?
like probably a
I
lot of
hate it.
steps
Like,
in there,
what
but
happened?
I love it. She's real. I
I'm
love it.
passionate about
She's like,
insurance,
you
guys.
could stub your toe,
And just
go
be
to
bankrupt.
the ER, and then be bankrupt. Like,
I
chapter
am not
11.
advocating for emergency rooms, by the way.
Yeah.
Use your telemedicine.
Yeah.
So that brings me to another question, right? So health. So in my industry, I have a lot of 1099 employees, and in the real estate game, a lot of right? Like there's a lot of business owners that are in the 1099 game. You know what I mean? So is there I give those guys the opportunity to say, hey, I got this health program, and if you want in on it, you have to buy in on it, and I'll match something like that? Or do they have to be a W-2 to qualify?
That's a great question. Yeah.
It is a great question. And there's 3 different bullet points to talk about with that. Bottom line, yes, you can offer health insurance or any other type of insurance to a 1099 employee, as long as you're using a carrier that allows it. So
That's
the
where it probably gets
insurance
sticky, huh?
carrier and provider will say if it's okay or not. And that's why you use a consultant to help you find the best.
And that would be
solution.
you?
and that would be me.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Bullet point number 2 is with the 1099 population, there are some non-affordable Care Act plans out there.
Wait a second. Let me just repeat what you said.
Yeah, non-affordable
So
Care
it sounds
Act.
expensive.
It's not expensive.
But
It's
then
actually
why is it not
less
affordable?
expensive.
So why do they call it non-affordable if it's actually affordable?
No, she's saying,
Let's
the
talk about
Affordable
the
Care Act.
Affordable Care Act, Obamacare.
Okay, because I'm a guy who hasn't had health
ACA?
insurance in over 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but you have heard of Obamacare.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Everyone's heard of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like Medicaid on steroids.
Yeah.
And so what the Affordable Care Act has done is set up a bunch of regulations
Yep.
that employers have to follow in order to have compliant health care. But there are some solutions that are affordable
Okay.
that aren't ACA,
And ACA stands for?
Affordable Care Act.
Okay. So then there's this non-affordable care loophole-ish.
You could call it a loophole.
Okay.
So there are programs out there that say there's discount programs,
Okay.
right? Medical discount programs,
Yeah.
pharmacy discount programs, telemedicine.
Mhm.
You can call a doctor anytime. Teletherapy, everything.
Sure. Very familiar with
Really.
it. If you
Um,
didn't buy
The
stock in
Rona
Zoom,
phase.
if you guys didn't buy stock in Zoom in February of 2020, you were wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you are.
'Cause
I'm
I
that guy.
told you.
I know you did. So
The
tell
Ob-
everything.
Yeah, the Obamacare requirements, ACA requirements say that you have to offer to all of your full-time, this is the third bullet point, all of your full-time employees, regardless of if you want them to be on it or you don't want them to be on it. But there are some, this is what I'm talking about, these non-ACA compliant plans that you can say, you know what, I like you, and so I want to give you this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Wait, so that ACA mandates that you have to offer.
Yeah, yes. So that's why so many companies, that's why UPS, for example,
Yeah.
right? And they say you're a part-time employee.
Yeah, 4-hour shifts.
That's right. You know
Mhm.
why?
so they don't
have to pay that health insurance because it's $1 billion.
Yeah, it is a lot of money.
It's a ton of money for somebody that doesn't use it.
Mhm.
It doesn't get used. So that's why companies like myself are like, well, man, I want to get penalized and have to pay all this excess money
Mhm.
for, like I said, I've gone 15 years. My wife didn't use it. My kids didn't use it. I don't use it. So if I did the math and on average of, and I'll be real conservative and keep the number simple, $1,000 a month. That's 12 grand a year times 10 years,
Yeah, 120 grand.
$120,000.
Yeah, that's great if you have that money saved in a savings account. But most people in the United States don't save money.
No, I would have spent that and not ever gotten it back.
Mm-hmm.
So if I paid $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year for 10 years. That's $120,000. I've gone 10 years without using health insurance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's one of those
So it's like, where does my $120,000 go?
to the people who can't afford it.
It goes to people that are having claims.
But
Their
yeah, claims is a better
insurance
way to
is
put it.
exactly that.
Mhm.
It's insurance. So
Mhm.
let's talk about car insurance, right?
Look, I get
Same thing.
insurances in case shit happens.
Right.
Mhm.
And so
Like-
sometimes something is going to happen and you're going to
Sure.
be happy that you
That we
have that there.
Absolutely, yeah. But you put it in perspective though, and if you look at car insurance, health insurance, all this stuff, like you're really paying for that peace of mind.
That's right.
Is what you're paying for, and it's really stinking expensive. So break down. You're saying there's a non-ACA.
Yeah. I'm interested
That's
in
what I
that.
want to know.
I'm
about.
interested in that
Yeah,
Affordable Care Act.
because I got something for you, Obamacare.
Yeah, because you know what I mean. Because people like myself who
Yeah.
are small business, we are money restricted.
Mhm.
And if it's a cheaper, better avenue, then why aren't we talking about it?
Yeah. Why don't people know about this?
Why is it a secret?
I don't know if I'd call it a secret, but consultants don't make as much money on those types of plans.
So it boils down to the money trail once
No,
again.
everything boils down to the money
Yeah.
trail.
Right.
Some people will use these types of plans to supplement an ACA plan so that you can get a cheaper and then put
Yeah.
something in front of it. But most of the time, your question is, why aren't we hearing more about it? It's because the money is less.
Well, let's talk about money real quick. We're not afraid to on this show, and I think a lot of people need to get over that phobia of money because we're okay to talk about it here. Let's talk the money aspect on it. Let's just use round numbers. A 10 employee company, and I guess you would include the owner there.
Yeah,
right?
He's part of that 10.
Exactly. So the owner and 9 people, so 10 people. What's something like that going to cost a business owner? And I know there's probably a lot of variables, risk, and who does this, and who's fat, and who's lazy, and who's whatever.
Right.
But
who smokes cigarettes?
Yeah, cigarettes and all that. So is it a $10,000 a month thing? Is it $1,000 of an employee? Like just round numbers.
So I like to say that as a business owner, you should be willing to budget about $500 per month per employee.
Okay,
as
that's
an
reasonable.
employer
That's
contribution
fair. Yeah, that's
to
fair.
the plan. So there's different ways that you can structure it. You can say, here is $500. You can get health insurance. You can get dental insurance. You can get vision insurance. You can get whatever you want as long as this is what's on your plate.
And that would be just the employee, not the benefit.
Not the wife, not the kids, not nobody else. This is just employee
just
number
big
1.
country.
Yep.
My big guy, right? That's it. So $500 a head.
$500 a head. And typically, depending on the financial ability of the company, they will scale it based off a percentage of premium.
So got a question in the comment. My buddy John Hart here says, is that a health savings account? We're going to get to that, John. Stand by. We're talking right now about what it's going to cost a business owner. Round numbers, because everybody's different, businesses are different, but we're talking about what is it going to cost me, the business owner, to employ or have benefits for my employees. So about $500, but that's something we'll have to put you guys in touch with, John. That sounds like that's above my pay grade, brother.
Yeah. In a perfect world, we would all work for the big dog agent or big dog companies that pay 100% for their employees and their families. And we don't have any out-of-pocket expense as employees of a business.
Yeah, I think those are called congressmen.
But unfortunately, we do have to remember that our employees have some financial responsibility. And that's whenever you have somebody who can come and teach your employees about consumerism and about health savings accounts and health reimbursement accounts. That's someone like me.
So if we're paying $500 a person, what can that employee expect to pay?
For just themselves, to do, without getting into too much jargon, a general plan, health insurance plan for an employee can usually budget around $300 to $400 if you're less than 50 years old.
Okay, so
sorry,
total
John,
paid
that's not
to
you.
the insurance company is $1,000.
And that's what I was trying to get. Like, we're paying this and they're also paying this. So now
no. We're going to back up just a second.
Yeah.
I'm only talking about bottom line price, no splitting, no nothing. If the employer paid everything, what happens?
The employer owned. Okay.
Yeah, the carrier will give you a bill that says you're on the plan, you're on the plan, this person's not on the plan, and they give you one bill and you pay it as the business owner.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the employee, if you do a split,
I take it from his paycheck.
you take it from his paycheck.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's an employee deduction.
So I get to set the price point, essentially.
Yeah,
It's
so we say, hey, it's a 50-50 split.
And I say, depending on what the salary of that employee is.
Of course, yeah.
Right? So, because it can't be 50-50 if I'm making $100K and he's making $20K.
No, I totally get it, yeah. But that's great because that sums it up. I like it Barney style. Like, it needs to be simple for us right here. And a lot of our viewers are much smarter than us, so I'm sure they get what you're talking about. But that makes me feel a little bit better because I was thinking, man, I remember what I used to pay for, and that was like a 60-40 split. And I'm like, so I dig that. Are there any other things here in this that business?
What about that deductible?
Let's talk about some compliance, right? Everybody, I told you don't like to talk to me because I'm boring.
No,
but we have to talk about compliance here.
Compliance.
There, the Affordable Care Act, ACA. I'm just going to start saying ACA
Yeah,
for now.
shoot it.
Got it. Cool.
The ACA will say for all plans outside of a certain window, which we'll talk about later, you have to have an employer contribution of at least 50% of the employee only premium. Okay. So if
you got to pay 50% of it no matter what.
Right.
Okay.
So keep that in your head.
Okay.
And then typically insurance carriers will have a requirement of employee participation. They like 75% or more employee participation.
Okay. So let me ask some questions now. So I got 10 employees. I pay 50%, right?
Of the employee only
Of the
premium.
employee only program. Now the insurance company wants a minimum, right, of 7 people to be a part of their insurance policy. So only 3 people can deny coverage.
Yes.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Bottom line, yes.
Right. So again, we're just using these nice round numbers because
Break it down Barney
it's
style.
just easier, right?
If you have insurance with your spouse's plan, things like
Now
that,
you're
there are some
now you're
things.
complicating
It
shit,
does
Nikki.
get complicated.
Wife does not get covered. That is not my problem right now.
Sorry, baby, you're on your own.
You're on your own. We got this
But yeah.
1099 insurance program that we're going to be talking about that we can probably get her on.
Yeah.
But so why? So, and what's the reason behind that insurance? Because it's not worth their time. It's not valuable enough. It's not enough money.
It's a risk pool,
Yeah.
right? So as an insurance company, the underwriters say, well, if there's 20 employees, but only 5 want it, how come?
Okay.
Are the other 15 employees unhealthy, or is there something wrong with the business? Is the business unhealthy financially?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Why is this guy not paying these people more? Does he have the cash flow? Is his business strong? So there's more involved than just
some red flags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Luckily for small business relief, this is the good part, and really the whole reason why I do what I do is the Affordable Care Act has an allowance for small business owners that kind of follows along with the marketplace open enrollment from November 1st to December 15th. If a small business says that they want to start offering an Affordable Care Act compliant health program, then they don't have to meet the 50% employer contribution, and they don't have to meet any employee participation requirements. So if you do have 20 employees and you, the employer, can't afford the employee premium 50% requirement, then you can still offer this so that the employee doesn't have to go into the ACA marketplace and try to figure out that chaos, because it is hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Even as a professional.
So we're doing these round numbers of 10. What if you're Black Level AV and you have 4 employees?
Same
thing.
Yeah. Same thing.
Okay. I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah. John answered. Okay. That
anything
answered
under
John.
50
Under
employees.
50. So 50 and under or 49 down?
50 and under.
Okay. So 51.
He's analytical. You can see that.
Yeah, well, because there's always these little fine
There's
prints,
always
There's always these little details that are like, oh, man, you tell me 50, but you really meant 49. Now I got to do this.
It's an average.
Because I broke 50, right? So it's like, where am I at? Insurance.
Well, let's talk about this, because as small businesses, you are always on the go. Like we talked about, it's 24/7, 365 days a week. As a business owner, how much work is it for me to get this set up for my business?
Yeah.
Because I don't like paperwork. I mean, I just did 50 signatures today and I was just brain dead after. But how much work is it really? Like the no BS, shoot us straight. What are we looking at to get set up with this?
It depends on your employee population.
10 people.
Right.
Yeah, keep it at 10.
Is it 10 people who hate the word insurance, or is it 10 people who
10
are
open-minded individuals?
Okay. About a week.
Week.
Yeah, not too bad.
Ain't nothing.
So the way it works is, go ahead.
Oh, so 10 people a week.
Same with 50.
Now, is it just this scheduling of going to a doctor, getting this?
I think it's the enrollment paperwork, right? What we're talking about.
It's all of the paperwork. Yep.
And what are those dates for enrollment dates annually?
Oh, the open enrollment it's called a holiday period for small businesses is November 1st through December 15th quoting period for a January 1st effective date. So that's when your plan starts.
And that's when we get those discounts if we enroll during this open enrollment period.
Correct.
And if we roll outside of that window, we get the penalty.
not a penalty.
You just pay more.
You just have to meet the Affordable Care Act requirement.
Sure, sounds like a penalty.
So
It's up
yeah,
to
that
you.
sounds like a penalty to me. too.
Tomato,
So
tomato.
November 1 to December 15. That's
Yeah.
the time small
So
businesses
get in
really
there
want to
so you
think
don't get
about
a
it.
penalty. That's
Yeah.
why they push it so hard. That's why there's so much
Mhm.
information given,
Right.
right? So we
Hey,
can.
do you know
avoid
Brad
those.
Clark?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
action
he's on
coach?
here. What's
Hey,
up,
Brad.
Mr. Brad? I saw the coach today.
Yeah.
Maybe it was yesterday. Good to see you, Brad. Man, I mean, just in this short period, I have so much more clarity, which just shows that the value you can bring to small businesses by just a simple maybe phone call
Mm-hmm.
or an email exchange with you back and forth is, I mean, I think the value is underestimated because
I
as
do
a
too.
small business, everybody that owns a business at some point in time, 1099 or W-2 thinks about this because most of us were always employees before we were business owners.
Yeah.
Or we had the perception health insurance is bogus, right?
Yeah.
Because I live such a healthy, like I take pride on not getting sick.
Yeah, he does squats.
Because
That's
I
what he does.
don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to pay some astronomical bill. And here's some, you want to hear a fun fact?
Yes.
So I worked in the medical field for a long time.
Mhm.
So I'd ask these doctors, I said, hey, I break my arm, boom, snap it, tip it, or break my radial. And I need to go in, do some minor surgery, put me in a cast. Cash price, how much? And he was like, I don't know, $6,000. $6,000.
Insurance price, 25.
Insurance price, 25, 30 G's.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
$10,000 deductible. So there's this problem in my brain that it's fighting.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, if it's only X amount of dollars to pay cash, then why is insurance so here? Like, where do we,
Because it's a bazillion,
the
gazillion dollar
regular-ass
industry.
people, get to push back on the? Is that why so many of these churches and other people have created these smaller health insurance companies where it's a shared health savings plan?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Short answer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because they're probably like, this is bull, right? This is baloney. I go so long and I pay all this. So they get these group membership plans. That's what it is.
Is that what John's talking about? There's this health savings account.
Totally different.
Totally
Health
different.
savings account is totally different.
Okay.
It's a tax shelter.
I got you. Okay.
And you can only use it for health related.
It is the best retirement solution out there. So
Is it?
Yeah.
Health savings account.
yeah, I'm gonna
Writing that
go
one
back
down.
just a second to talk to you about timelines.
Okay.
We've been talking about this special enrollment period. There is opportunity for you to keep your employer contribution and to keep your participation, but have a plan that asks medical questionnaires of the employees
Okay.
in order to properly underwrite. So the plans that I'm talking about in this holiday enrollment period doesn't ask any questions about the health of the group. It just says, how old are you? What's your zip code? And then they give
Easy.
you a rate.
Based on my zip code?
Mm-hmm. So if you're 70 years old and you live in Dallas, your rate's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're 20 years old and you live in Dallas, your rate is much cheaper.
And that's just November 1 to
Mhm.
December.
But
So we're pushing 11 days away from this enrollment period right now.
there is an opportunity that is usually more cost effective if you use a consultant and ask HIPAA compliant health questions, and we submit the health of your group to the insurance carriers for true underwriting of just your group's risk.
So what are some disqualifiers for an employee?
That's
Like
a great question.
is
Yeah.
like obesity, smoking,
How many years you been in business? Maybe.
being a business owner. So is there some things that are disqualifiers that companies need to know about so you kind of get there? So if I want to go ahead and move forward with this, I need to know, is my ship in order? Right? Is all my shit in one sock?
Yeah.
So when I come and get evaluated for health, I'm not going to pay this astronomical amount because I'm such a high risk. How can we reduce our risk so that we can have the best health program out there that doesn't break the bank?
I'm so glad you asked that question. And this is why the Affordable Care Act did come into place. Okay. So you're getting your medical questions, and some things that an insurance carrier will say, oh no, we don't want to have this employee on our plan,
Right.
is terminal illness, active terminal illness.
Sure, I can understand.
Right.
That.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Active treatments for
Cancer.
kidney, liver disease, cancer, heart,
Yeah.
like active heart treatments, things like that.
Some critical
ongoing illness.
Typically a
right?
5-year look back range.
Okay.
And then those people we can get on a separate insurance plan. Or there is opportunity. Some carriers will say, you know what, we don't want to write this group. They're too risky. And that's why we have the no questions asked health plans, age and location. Because if you have an unhealthy group, some of these underwriters won't want to write that group. And so we put you in to something that.
So shouldn't that prompt the business owner to get their employees healthy?
Exactly. There's lots of wellness programs out there and coaches. And
so if I have is there a benefit to a company having a wellness program?
Some companies will only have a wellness program and not have a health insurance program. Some companies like to recruit based off of saying, you know what, we don't offer health insurance, but here's this really cool telemedicine, and here's this really cool health coach, and here's this really cool discount program for pharmacy and for pets and for this. And it's still less expensive.
Sure, but it doesn't do shit for you.
Than a major medical.
Well, it doesn't do anything for the employee because this employee doesn't utilize.
Yeah, that's where initiative comes in.
If that employee doesn't utilize this coach and he doesn't utilize this gym membership and he doesn't utilize these things that we put forward, because that's one of my things. When I bring a new guy on, I pay 1 year membership because I'm such an advocate of staying healthy.
Yeah.
Because when you when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. Fair?
Sure.
So that's what I present to the people that come on board. Like, it is mandatory. And if you're not going to the gym, I'm going to call your ass out.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, because no, so I'm not pointing anybody out. Right. But if I only buy large shirts. Okay. So if you can't fit your ass in my large shirt, then you got two options. Wear a shirt that's really snug.
Big country will be up the creek, man. Or
get your ass in the gym.
And take a lap.
You know what I mean? We'll send you to, what do they call that in boot camp?
The pig platoon.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So where is because that's what's kind of unfair to a business, right?
Yeah.
You have, especially cubicle workers. It's not their fault that year after year after year, you're in the same routine.
I disagree. Because if you don't like where you're standing, just move.
Just move a little bit.
Yeah.
But they get complacent and there's no incentive. There's nothing. Hey, let's go. You know, it happens. And the next thing you know, you wake up 10 years later and like, holy shit, I'm type 2 diabetic. I got COPD. I got congestive heart failure.
I'm 50 pounds overweight.
I'm 100 pounds overweight. What happened?
Yeah, nothing. That's what happened.
A whole lot of donuts. So there's a lot to think about when developing. It sounds like when developing a health insurance program for companies. Because
I think she broke it down really well, though.
Oh, guaranteed.
I think I'm at the point where
it's not so scary. It's not so scary.
It's not scary, but not knowing the information and not being able to talk to somebody, because during open enrollment, I promise you that phone's going to blow up. It's open enrollment. And you're getting any Tom, Dick, and Harry that just got their license trying to get you in an open enrollment. Don't worry about it. You can have a gout in your toe and missing a kidney. Like, you're in, son. But the next thing you know, open enrollment's done, and you file and you go to insurance, and what's your deductible? $10,000.
So what's the best way for these small businesses that follow us? And we have a lot of people that kind of just stand back and don't really comment, or they just watch and share the videos and stuff. Is it email? Is it phone? Or do you have a Facebook page where people can reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. Niki.
Yeah. So the best ways to contact me are, of course, my website, tannagroup.com, TANNA. I also have a LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube channel,
all
Twitter,
the social media platforms.
All the social media. Well, I don't have Instagram because what are you going to take pictures of for insurance? But
absolutely. You want to talk about why you should have an IG?
Sure, let's do it.
We don't have enough time, but I'll talk to you off, Hannah, because who's your target audience?
Right.
Where are they at?
on Instagram.
They're on the
right.
they're right. Where are they at? I mean, LinkedIn, you know what I mean? You have those. That's where the family members are at, right? So we don't want to discount it. Like I'm not on Twitter. Like I'm not, because it's too political for me. And I believe it's a political platform. And probably some of the same reasoning about Instagram. It's like, oh, it's more for those stories, those real, it's not business related so much as LinkedIn and
the Twitter,
and Facebook. I don't do Twitter. It's all politics, and I don't have time for it.
I'll be honest with you.
And I don't understand.
If we didn't have the goals and the drive that we have for this, and I wasn't a business owner, I'd be like John Hohenschultz living in a cabin with a beeper.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't get Twitter. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, it's a political.
It is
foundation, but
and it strokes football players' egos. So, and I'm not about it.
So here's the deal: is I think that there's a lot of people out here that could really use your services. I just put in the comments here.
Put her phone number and everything.
I tagged her
Nice,
business.
thanks.
I tagged your email or your website there. What saved rounds do you have? And that to us means, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Was there any questions that should have been asked that we did?
Yeah.
Really, I think the scariest part of creating an employee benefit structure is the unknown, right?
Okay,
And you talked
agreed.
about that. And
Yeah.
so the only thing that I really would say is it doesn't matter who you talk to, but find an insurance professional to help you, right? Google is not going to help you find the best health
No,
insurance
just call
program.
our lady right here, Nikki. Don't look further. Just
I
call
would
Nikki.
love for you to call
Well,
me.
I love the fact
but
she
call
does the exact-
anyone.
she does the same thing that I do with inside my company. I don't care if you use me.
Use
but
a professional.
Please use somebody that's credible. Please use
Yeah.
somebody that's been licensed, that's got their time and grade in the industry. Just
Right.
because you're a 2-year business owner does not discount your 15 years in the industry.
In the space.
Yeah, I like to
Exactly.
call people like that an industry advocate,
That's right.
because when you really care like about insurance and roofing and
yeah.
AV work, you really care what happens in your industry.
That's right.
I just talked to a client this week that was the same thing. It's like, I don't understand how people can leave things like this and walk away from it. So we appreciate that. We respect that. So I just like to say, hey, don't discount the fact of your value.
Yeah.
Because just in the short 40 minutes you've been here, like you've
my
already,
mind's blown.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm sold.
Like,
Like,
need
I
to
know I'm
sign
calling
up.
you next week, right
I need-
away.
I
You
need-
know,
Like, so speaking of which, we would like to invite you in on one of our training groups. You guys are more than welcome when she's here
yeah.
to come in and talk to our company
Mhm.
as a whole, and just kind of give us a little bit more insight, because it is important. I do work in an industry that falling off a roof is a real possibility.
A daily possibility.
We do drive. I mean, I drove 38,000 miles last year.
Yeah.
So
me too.
my odds of getting into a car wreck are greater than those that drove 10,000 miles.
I'd be
right?
happy to introduce you to a good workman's comp representative
Doesn't
if you
that
don't have
come
that.
That's not part of it.
No,
That's totally separate.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. That's how
it's
they get you, dog.
confusing.
God, man, they get you coming, they get you going, they get you when you fall down, when you don't fall down. It's like, I'm trying to just live my best life and not have to have insurance.
Hey,
I just
James,
don't
we
want you to-
appreciate you. I don't mean to cut you off,
Go
but James here is a first time video. He said that he's caught of us and he's learned a lot. I hope that, I mean, that's why we do this, James. So thanks for joining us, man. I mean, you know what? This whole thing tonight, it's a win
It
because
is a
James
win.
got something out of it.
It's huge. We
You know
love
what
that,
I'm saying?
James.
So
Thanks,
appreciate
thanks
you,
for
James.
putting that comment out there, because
Yeah.
it just lets you know that there's a lot of people out there that just don't. So, Nikki, I'm going to challenge you to start a podcast. All right.
Thank you
The
for that
Tanna Group
challenge.
podcast.
It's official.
It is official. So we got open enrollment coming up for podcasters.
Yeah. I will tell you
Yay.
this. We have this big thing in this room and we've been for years doing this. When we put it in the universe, we kind of hold us accountable.
Mhm.
But I think someone like you, that's a great idea because you could bring in a Jeff Skinner at 4 years and you could bring in someone at 10 years and we're all going to have those 50.
Very
Or
similar
below.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's amazing. So
And
Man,
you
I'm
just
re-
interview him, man, because I got thousands more questions. Like
I'm telling you, me too. I'm trying to shut up,
I-
but
I mean, I keep looking back here and it's like 6:54 and I'm like, man, what about,
Yeah.
what about, what about if one of my employees is married and the wife is a high risk and she's predisposed to cancer? I mean, how does that affect my premiums, right?
you know, it might be a good idea for us to do is set aside a time and do a quarterly employee benefits education
I think so. 'Cause
and bring you
Or
in.
maybe a
need to-
hot spot. Just ask a
something
question.
to where we
Yeah.
can bring some of these people in. If you guys are listening or you watch this later, if that's something y'all would be interested in, throw it in the comments, shoot us a DM, whatever you got to do. But I can tell you right now, this is probably reaching more people than we think it is,
Oh, I
because a lot
guarantee
of
it.
people right now are thinking, oh shoot, November 1st.
That's right around the
Like
corner.
It
this
is.
is perfect timing for you right now, and
Mhm.
perfect timing for a lot of us. So thank you so much for
This is
coming in.
huge.
Awesome for
blessed
you
to be here.
guys connecting and setting
Yeah.
this up. And that's just, this goes to show you the power of the Patriot Business Alliance.
That's right.
The things that we do, the things that we try to provide, the people that we're in the same circles with, all go hand in hand with each other, because we can all help each other somehow.
Every
So,
way, every step of
outstanding
the
value.
way.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed it, Nikki. I mean, you've opened my eyes, because I'm like obviously 15 years with no health care. There's a reason.
I know.
And I'll tell you, right?
It's hard. Hurts
Well,
my
like,
heart.
I'm dead inside
It
a
was
little.
it was the money, because when I spoke to him,
Yeah.
it was like the analogy I gave you,
Yeah.
right?
He just saw
See,
120 grand in 10 years.
$120,000, and I don't get it back. I don't
Yeah.
get a reward.
There's
for
no
being
ROI
good.
on that.
You
Yeah.
just
Right?
have to keep an open mind and continue to discover.
Okay, so why don't they reward people for being healthy?
That's not how it works, man. It's the cheeseburgers are what,
Shouldn't it
$1?
work that way though?
Cheeseburgers are
Shouldn't
$1.
my
and-
premiums be less because I am healthy, because I am doing what I'm supposed to do? And those that are not doing what they're supposed to be get penalized? Because if you get enough penalties, guess what? You're probably going to fix your attitude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
would-
that's
You're probably
where-
going to win some more.
That's
Right?
definitely where those health questionnaires come into play. In your group, because you have your large shirt size requirement, probably is going to have less premiums than a company who has a bunch of people who
Right.
sit at
Yeah,
cubicles and
who
have.
all wants triple
unhealthy
X's
lifestyle.
sold? You
Yeah.
know, like no, everybody just wears scrubs because it's a one size fits
So
all.
I guess it's more of you pay a lot, or you pay almost a lot.
Oh damn! To
Sorry.
just be unhealthy.
yeah.
To just let myself go.
But either way, I think aside from the benefits that we can, aside from the, hey, you are covered.
Yeah.
This also, in my mind, lets my employees know
that, we
that I
care.
truly care,
Mhm.
and that if something does happen to them, that hey, we're thinking big picture.
Yep.
We're not thinking the here and now. We're thinking the 10-year game
Yep.
plan. So I think there's a lot of benefits to just even having the discussion in your office with your people. If you guys are, tossing this idea around, Nikki's information's in the Facebook thread there. Shoot her an email. I'm sure contact information's on your website. Right,
Yep.
reach out to them now. Let me ask you this: if I send that form in on your website, are you the one that's replying to that email?
I am.
Okay,
So
I
you're a
love-
one man show right
I
now?
love that.
Right now, I'm a one-man show. The beauty about the
one
insurance.
person show. I apologize.
Well, whatever.
She doesn't seem
The
like you
beauty
cared
about
about
the
that.
insurance world is that we have back offices that
Yeah.
can help out
Sure.
because of HIPAA compliance
Support
and all
team.
that. So.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, good. That's good to know, because I know a lot of people will go and use a small business because they know if they call Doc's phone number, it's either Doc or one other person answering it. If
Mhm.
they call Black Level AV, it's me picking the phone up. So
Mhm.
that speaks volumes to a lot of people.
Yes.
There's nothing worse
We
than having.
love the intimacy,
Yeah.
right? And
People
that's
love
what it's
it.
about. And I'm assuming that's probably why you stick to that small business sector, because you appreciate the intimacy
Sure.
and building that relationship. And it's probably exciting to see a company that goes from 4 employees to 25 to 40. You know what I mean? You're like, wow.
Well, I think that everybody has a right to health care, has a right to health insurance. We just need to be responsible about how we're getting it.
Oh, 1000%.
And I focus on the small business space because there are brokerage agencies out there who only focus on 100 employees or 1,000 employees and up.
That's where the money's at.
And
Totally
the small
different world.
business owner who's really working their asses off
Yeah.
don't get the attention that they need.
Can you tell this is her first live podcast?
I can't.
You're a pro at this.
I was
love
like, I
it.
didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. Are you
If you
sure?
would have never said that, we would have been like, dang, this girl
Yeah,
just does
she's
this all
on
this time,
fire.
right?
She's-
I'm a pro.
No Well, what that does is it leads us to believe that you're affluent, you're well educated, you know what you're talking about.
Confident. Yeah.
You speak well, you hold confidence, you hold yourself well. So it doesn't matter if you have a camera on you or not. You're speaking the exact same way when I came over and met. You spoke
Mhm.
with confidence, educated,
Mhm.
and so that's what business owners really look for in somebody who's going to represent them.
Thank
so
you.
We
Yeah.
thank you for that. We
Yeah.
thank you for being a
And congrats on
true
2 years.
patriot.
Yay.
Because that's
Patriot.
rocking. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
Love it. Well, that's
So-
all I think we got, folks. Man, we were just now jamming. I'm telling you, I could have went a whole nother hour. with
Yeah,
this
I'm
show.
telling you, man. So hey, all is said and done. Nikki's information's in the comments there. Take a look at it, whatever. And I know for sure I'm taking action on this.
Absolutely.
question.
So I'll talk to you offline. And again, because you do only have yourself and 2 others to make it a value, I'll invite those people in. I'll try to get a good crowd of about 10 to 15 people that are in our inner circle that all need to hear it. We'll host it right here, and then I'll record it for you and go live, and then you can repurpose it for your content.
That's awesome.
Money, dude. That's
That's
it.
what I do.
Put that on a cracker, dude.
Cracker. We can't use that term either.
Yeah. So, hey, y'all be good. Go home, get some rest,
Right.
get up in the morning, get motivated because tomorrow's $10,000 Thursday.
That's right.
And listen, the bottom line to it is we're already a quarter of the way through quarter 4. If you need help planning out the rest of the year, you need some motivation, get up with us, talk to us, let us know how we can help you. But your mindset should already be looking to 2022.
Yep.
And the fact that you're here giving this kind of information just kind of gives that extra push for your
It's
business. And it's time to get going. If
It's
you're
time.
wasting the day away, that's on you. So
On you.
we'll
Get
see y'all
to
later.
work.
Y'all be good.